Ladies and gentlemen, good day. We continue to explore the multidisciplinary aspect of faith counseling. If you are a faith counselor, then all the time people think that you got only the one or two books telling you the technique of the faith exploration, and then you add one or few sentences about life, then you will be satisfying the requirement of faith counselor. However, if you want to have a better qualification, if a better exploration, better explanation of all the people's faith, then you may have the insight from the past few programs telling you that we should draw some of the concepts, theory, technique from other disciplines so that we can enrich our competency in faith counseling. Right? So we have gone through business, we have gone through law, we have gone through some science thing, etc., literature. Today we introduce you another aspect, which is also be very useful and helpful for you to understand the faith counseling. It is history. History, obviously, no matter what knowledge you are exploring, there must be history. Say, for instance, faith counseling is itself a history telling, alright? If a person comes to you and they ask you about what's happened in his life, then in fact you are telling him in history, from birth to the present moment that he is asking, and then you tell him what will be happening in the coming time and then the time moment. So from birth to death, before the birth and after that, all this we call it a history, because it brings about the elements of time. So history is important. And secondly, there are two issues in faith counseling. One is, when did the concept of fate and fortunes happen? When did they happen? When were they discussed? When were they examined by intellectuals in the ancient time? What's the content? All this kind of thing you tell you about history. Secondly, if you talk about the faith counseling technique, again, it is history. Then in China, if you find that faith counseling technique always happening in Song Dynasty and afterwards, then you have the question, why faith counseling technique cannot or could not happen before Song Dynasty? Why they didn't happen in Zhou Dynasty, in Han Dynasty, and other kind of dynasty before Song Dynasty? There is a historical path, historical trend telling you the reason behind. So it is history again that can prove to you, telling you what's happened in the past time and what factors are affecting the faith counseling exploration as well as the faith counseling technique. So we've got to learn history, particularly Chinese history, so that we can know why it happens to you. So this time I introduce a book. It's called 国史大纲 钱穆 Professor Chen Mu. So he is the authority in Chinese history, and he give a good narration of what's happening in the dynasty from our very beginning, ancient time. It is Xia Qiao, Shang Qiao, and Zhou Qiao. Xia, Xiang, and Zhou dynasty. Afterwards, up to the 1911 revolution. So with this historical book in mind, then you know what's happening in China, what have they developed, what are the dynasty changes, etc., etc. And then basing on the background of the historical facts, you understand why faith counseling happened in a particular moment and why faith counseling techniques were introduced in particular moments. So it helps you understand them more in depth and it helps you to interpret them and to make use of them in a much more proper ways. So today is about value history in understanding faith counseling, and then we will move on to other aspects in the coming times. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.